Alright, hello. Right, for this video we will be talking about Germany as a team used for 1v1s, 2v2s or whatever on MOWAS2 Squad 2. We talk about the weaknesses and strengths and practically the units as in and individuals and whatnot, and this as a whole. So let's get started. We'll be beginning with starters, as in what Germany would hope to buy at the start of the game as a first buy. For this video I'd like to point out that we will only be focusing on things exclusive to Germany, so things such as like AT rifles, AT infantry, default snipers, oops, and whatnot will and radio operators will not be included as they are in other factions. We're only talking about what's making Germany strong. You might be asking, why are you doing assault squads in elite marksmen? Because they're in other squads. You're right, but you know you get things like this. This is basically the only reason we've got this assault squad here. Everybody knows about assault squad. If you don't, I suggest you go find out. It's basically intended for close range, and that's all I'm going to say. The assault rifle here is probably the only assault rifle that ever existed in World War II, and is very, very powerful. Very good at killing troops, as you will see here. They die practically instantly. You know, as you can see, incredibly powerful. See, with a single cartridge you took down an entire squad. You could not do that with a regular SMG. For this reason, you want to to protect this guy and use him to the best advantage and micro him more than any other troop and make sure you do not lose him. If he was to die, I would recommend getting someone like an elite marksman or an SMG guy to pick up his gun and use it effectively, because Germany relies on its strong troops like MG42s and whatnot, and if without them, it's kind of falls apart. So, right, practically covered them. Are we only doing briefs? So won't we go into very specifics because there's so much to cover. Also, you know, this video is still going to be quite long. But you know, I wouldn't expect someone to watch all of it, but I will be putting timings in below on certain parts. So say you didn't know too much about the Fetching Tiger and what's special about that, because there is something special about it that you may not know. You can go click on the time at the bottom, and well, I'll explain it there. So we're going through things one at a time, which brings us on to probably the Panzer. Not Panzer Grenadiers. The regular infantry. Now, I would not recommend getting this as a starter. For the reason being, it's just it's not particularly good at close range, so it's got to do a better job. Even with the MG42, it's more value for money, so you can buy more side troops such as this. Again, the reason I point this out is the MG42. I mean, I thought I might as well just include these guys because, you know, since I'm doing starters for Germany, they're you could always argue, you know, MG42 good at long range, but you know, these guys, I'll talk about these guys now, will always do a much better job. The elite machine gun crew, which you can buy at the start, it limits the amount of infantry you can get, but is incredibly powerful and will do practically all your damage is done by the MG42 at long range. When trying troops behind cover, can do massive amounts of damage. In this elite MG42, I have actually done another video and you will see how capable it is, and you'll see what I mean. So I'd always recommend getting these guys, and then immediately trying to back them up with a few infantry just to make sure they don't get naded and maybe cap some other points. Elite marksman, there's nothing special about these of Germany, nothing different really from any of the other elite marksmen, but I just like to point out that it's as a buy, while we're doing this, I would recommend getting them over the assault squad if your micro is better. If your micro isn't so strong, get the assault squad. It's dead now. Just get the regular assault squad because you know the troops, because of the SMGs, they'll be able to handle themselves a bit better without you having to basically, how do I say it? Pretty much look after them and keep an eye on them all the time without, you wouldn't have to really trust these guys as much to do a better job. I can't even express myself. That's right, big game. I'm definitely cutting that part out. Yeah. Let's just leave it there. Right, let's bring it out over here. So now we've got these guys. The German elites. Now, I would recommend getting these over the paratroopers any day because they will do far more. The paratroopers, they don't really tend to do that much damage for what they're worth, but these guys definitely will if you use them right. Definitely intended for close range. Never use them at long range. They don't have any machine guns, and the Panzerfausts are best used at a very close range against armor. So you want to get them out up close and personal. Even the rifles can function as they are fast firing carbine. So, you know, that's basically them in a nutshell. Like I said, gonna go over them very quickly, so I'll be leaving them guys alone. Okay, let's go on to the other infantry. So we've got the veteran sniper. The veteran sniper you want to get out as early as possible. It's practically the second it comes out. You might choose to actually buy the Panzerfaust squad instead, but I prefer the veteran sniper. You might choose to get these guys out and try and sneak them up a bit more. But definitely, I'd say the veteran sniper because I often do more damage to snipers. I don't really tend to use these guys too often because I go for the Brandenburgers instead. I've pretty much called. I'm covering all these guys as a whole because they all sort of. It's one or the other with these two, and they're good comparing to each other. So with the Brandenburg squad. Let's go to Panzerfaust squad. Panzerfaust squad, very it's anyway. They come with 3 of these bad boys each. The Brandenburgers only come with 1, but you might only need 1 or whatever. For this reason, they're good for sneaking up, getting as close to the infantry enemy as possible. You want to lie them down. They're very hard to detect. They do cause a lot of trouble if you can get them close enough. They will do a lot of damage to tanks. These guys, you can do the same. I think I'm not sure if they're as stealthy. I'm pretty sure they are, but they don't come with as much. See, they only come with the 1, but they do come with. They don't come with MG42. They come with an MG34, which is not as powerful, not very ready to fire. I think it does more accuracy. Yeah, sure it does. So I would add these guys are just a strong infantry unit to use. Go with Panzerfausts. They're good as a whole. Keep them at a range or get them up close. Well, get the Panzerfausts up close and keep the guys at a range. Again, you'll see I'll use them in another video. I'll be covering that afterwards. I've done before in a replay. So, we're going here quite a pace. We've pretty much covered almost everyone. Let's just talk about the MG42. We've gone over this already. Very, very powerful. Starting infantry around to shoot. But, it's by far the most powerful MG in the entire game. It will shred things entirely. Like I said before, Germany relies on its strong troops to do very well. And this is definitely one of them. It costs a lot, but it is, worth it if you use it right. I would not suggest spamming them, as you probably don't need that many, and it'll just be very costly. But just the odd one will always hold back the infantry when you need to. But obviously, if you had a 20mm or something, there'd be no point in buying one. But it's always that cheaper option if you don't quite need a 20mm. Right. So let's go on to the few emplacements you might use. So you got this. This is the. Actually, let's do these two. These are the 2 20mm buys you can get. I've just noticed I've captured this point, so that will be ticking away. That was my phone. If you heard it. Yeah, so the looks. You'd want to get, this is a good 20, actually good at 20mm killer. So if say you were up against a Russian T60, it would be able to rush it because its strong armor can resist 2mm quite range. Just make sure you're not sending it in too fast, otherwise it'll get tracked, expose its sides armor when it's sort of, I don't know, skids, and will be taken out. That's happened to me way too many times when it shouldn't have happened. It can be easily avoided. Right. And the only reason you get this over it is because it's cheaper than the Lux. It's also harder to detect, and it's harder to hit. So, an enemy tank trying to take it down would struggle, and you would hear it coming in and be able to run it away in time. You might be able to do the same for Lux, but you know, you never know. This can be quite good for just shock attacks, just wheeling it in, firing a few rounds, and then wheeling it out again. I tend to always go for the Lux, but you know, they can be equally as good. Good infantry killers. Right. Now for this bad boy. In Naval Warfare, it's kind of specific. I don't really use it that much, but it's good for when you just want to get a gun in placement that you just can't hit. Say it was behind a building very specifically, I don't know, there, or maybe behind there, you just couldn't get it, and you just keep firing away. It's also good for taking out swarms of infantry, such as, you know, charge or something. But you know, I'd say only get it if you're absolutely sure you can do damage with it. You also got to think about CP as well, so that could be another thing. Can be used in 1v1s or 2v2s really, but are probably more effective in a 2v2 because of the CP costs. Right, since we're doing, we'll go on to these two because these two are also good meant for taking it down in placements really. This is the cheaper option, more of an early buy. You'd probably, if your opposition rushed in a 20mm or something in placement, you could, and it was behind a building, and say they had armor or something over here ready to take you out, you could always put this behind a hill like so and target the 20mm. It's not very accurate, but it will eventually get there, and it will keep it off your back, while the armor won't be able to do anything because you are hidden behind this hill. This is far longer range. It can also be, it's more of a late option buy. Again, probably not for ever for 1v1s.
Connection lost.
More for 2v2s. For some reason I just lost connection to TeamSpeak. So that was weird. Not that I needed it. Right. So you would fire off shots like so. And from a very long range. It can also be used to take down tanks. It will take a lot of shots. So in a 2v2 situation you would only really want to get this when it's closer, when you've got a lot of, say you were on, I don't know, the enemy only had like 30 points on you or something, or 50. You know, you'd have plenty of time to sit back and shoot them. But, you know, if they were on 90, 80 or 70, you wouldn't want to get it because it does take a long time to rack up those kills. But it does take up a lot of CP. But it's good. It's a good buy when you use it right. Let's talk about the flak then. Now, the flak 37 is incredibly powerful in terms of. Let's just use a standard Tiger as a demonstration for how powerful it is. Let's position it up here and the flak over here. I don't tend, if you can sneak this in without your opponent realising, it's very effective because it will catch them off guard. That's probably what I think it's best used for. If you find it's in danger, or they decrew it, or they damage it, because it is actually quite hard to kill, it's good to have maybe a one of these nearby, just ready to ship it off, because it can, as you can see from even from that range, it can instantly hook it up and run off. So if you keep it on a ledge, it can be very effective. As you will see from this range, it can even pierce the armor of that. Oh, it was a turret shot. Let's try to get a front armor shot. See, hull pierced, and it will continue to that. So incredibly powerful. I don't tend to get it. I don't know. It's quite expensive, but if you really need to take down a piece of armor, then it's very good. Obviously, the Tiger is not a good example because you probably won't be doing Germany versus Germany, Axis versus Axis, because that's unbalanced. But you would Allies versus Allies, because that's unbalanced as well. You would not want to do that because it.
Oh man.
What am I even talking about? Anyway, as you can see, it's entirely meant for killing armor. You know, you'd want to get if you were sure your opponent was going to bank for something, it's best to probably get before they actually get their powerful tank. If you can predict it, it's good afterwards as well, but they'll probably see it coming in. Anyway, let's talk about the J, because the J, yes, it's very. It's a very, you want to buy it very early on. It's not particularly powerful. It's got weak armor. It's got a weak gun. Really, it's probably best for taking down an early 20mm rush, where you can just send it in and bam, it's out and do some damage to infantry. But it can be quite easily balanced with tank. But you can do some damage while it's out there. But I don't think it's a particularly good tank, really. But a lot of people are quite skilled do tend to use it, and I have seen them do damage with it. So that's good. A tank I have forgotten about to buy is the G. Now the G, much like the H, so the H has stronger armor. The G is a glass cannon, which means it's really easy to destroy. In terms of armor, it's only got as strong as the 3, but its gun is incredibly powerful. I've taken on IS-2s of this for its cost. I like tanks like this because it specialises in one thing and you can do a lot of damage. I would not recommend sending this up against long-range things. I would recommend sending this up against tanks that don't really have a particularly long range. Maybe, and if you were to position around some rocks or something, it's good for taking down. You can take down much stronger tanks, like comics, if you use them right, but it does require a lot of skill and timing. So if you're not very skilled in top tank combat, I would probably not recommend using the G. The H, on the other hand, it's got much stronger front armor and its gun's a bit more powerful. Something you should. It's a bit of a meh tank. I would recommend getting it over the Stug, because the Stug which costs just as much though. Stug really is better for on long range maps because it can't be it can't be outflanked as you can keep it as much longer range. It's got a stronger gun. It's got stronger front armor. Disadvantage is if it gets tracked, then it's screwed. Yeah, but it's up to you which one you want to buy. It really depends on the situation, but H probably more often. H, it's a bit of a meh tank. Like I said, it's not particularly great, but it's the best German you have, really, for most situations. So you really want to get it while waiting for the veteran Tiger, a 2v2 match or whatnot, just to do your damage in the meantime, which is why it's not particularly good. Another reason why I don't think Germany's a particularly good team in 1v1, because you probably won't very often be getting the veteran Tiger, because you won't have enough time, really, because 1v1s are very quick battles normally. So tip about the H, never ever angle it. Its side armor is absolutely pitiful. Even if you start just a tiny bit out of it, the shot from most tanks will likely not ricochet, even if it's even only slightly showing it at a very steep angle, because its side armor is just pitiful. Because what Germany did practically was to make keep the tanks mobile but still have strong armor, was they put all the armor at the front and took it off the sides. Yeah. Anyway, so let's go on to the veteran Tiger. Well, the veteran Tiger is practically in a 2v2 match, or very specifically 1v1s. You would want to get it always. You would want, really, in a 2v2 match, you'd say to your mate, right, I'm going to get the King Tiger, or you're going to get King Tiger, and the other one of us is going to hold the enemy off, because what makes it so good, it's not just its armor, it's its reload speed. This thing will take down IS-2s most of the time because of its reload speed. It's absolutely insane. It's like 4 seconds, I think. It will do incredible amounts of damage, and that reload speed is just unbeatable. Which is why it's such a great tank. And you roll this out to the field with enough backup, it's it will be undefeatable normally, as long as you haven't let your enemy bank far too much and you haven't let them win too much of the game. You got enough time to take down back your points, and you will most likely win 9 times out of 10. This is definitely Germany's trump card. Anyway, which is why I say Germany's a defensive team, because you really want to hold maybe only 1 point and really let your opponents have 2 for most of the game until you can get this. And just hold on to that 1 and maybe try and neutralise the centre for a little bit, just so they can't get that too many points. Now, I've covered practically most of everything in rather short time. This is quite good. I was expecting it to take longer than this, but I have rushed over everything very quickly. Just like to cover a few things you would not want to get. Never ever buy this, please. Artillery, it can sometimes be good in large matches. It's very expensive, you know. I'd suggest getting the cheaper ones rather than the more expensive ones, because, you know, although the more expensive ones will do more damage, it's really just all the same job in the edge. This is a complete waste of points. It costs so much as a Tiger, and the Tiger will always do, although it's not a great buy, because you'd want the veteran Tiger more, and its reload speed is terrible on the normal Tiger. It's just a crap vehicle. It's just utterly crap. You'll never do a lot of damage with this, and honestly, if it gets artillery fired at it, it'll blow up easily. So just don't get it, please. You might see pro players getting it, but they will be trolling if they are. You know, if you are going to buy some artillery, I'd just recommend getting this nice and cheap. Maybe spend just that 100 more points than the Wesper, if I've pronounced that right. Just so it can't get struck by artilleries easily. You know, I mean, I wouldn't recommend normally getting artillery. I mean, you've always got the naval warfare, but you know, it's there. Ostwind and Whirlwind, probably no, just too expensive. They just don't do enough damage for what they're worth. I mean, the Crusader AA for the UK is very good, but the Ostwind is like, it doesn't have the same blast. It doesn't have the same blast the Crusader AA has. It's just not as good. Like a Crusader AA could probably damage the engine of this. The Ostwind cannot. It's just not worth it. The Ostwind. Whirlwind's just awful. Just doesn't have any penetration. It's pointless having so many. It's just overkill, really, that you don't need. Anyway, I've talked about this long enough. I'll be uploading a video later. Really, if you think I missed out on anything about Germany, just say, or if it wasn't really clear on something, I'll reply rather quickly. Let me just check. I've checked everything. Here, the Goliath is. I'll talk about the special points and why you don't really want to get anything of the special points. You don't really want to get the Goliath. It's just people think it's good, but you really, when playing against pro players, you'll never be able to get them in close. Never. A skilled player will always be able to resist that and have a bazooka ready, and it'll just be for 1 SP, that's a 10th of your SP points gone for the rest of the game, just wasted on so you could watch a big explosion. These guys, no, it's not worth it. The thing is, on some of the others, sometimes it's alright because it has the 50 caliber, but definitely not on this. It doesn't have 50 caliber on its. For the other teams, they have like 50 calibers like the Allies, but Germany's transport is just not worth it. But what you can do with the 50 caliber on the other ones, because it can do a 360, it can basically clear out areas and send these guys in rather quickly and just to enter the area. You know, but on this, they'll be just shot up the second they get out. So I probably would not. Well, I would probably say no. just no. It just costs too much. You'd just get the flak, really. This, it's cool, but it's just not worth the wait or the points. It's essentially enough. I know that looks really massive explosion, but it's just not worth it. I've seen so many people getting this tank, it's so shit. I've literally never seen this do damage against me, it's such a shit. I've seen pro players get this, it's such a shit buy. They're mad. Just don't even bother. So shit. Trust me. Looks kinda cool though. Right. I've already gone over this. The only one you would really ever want is a stew, possibly the Jag Panther if you really needed it. But no, you'd always want to save up for the Vetch and Tiger. Seriously, it'd just be a waste of lots of points. Only get the king. You'd never be able to get the king in a normal points match. The only reason you'd ever be able to get the king is if you were playing higher points, which isn't necessarily. I mean, the king, sure, it's a beast of a tank. Practically nothing can penetrate it from the front. But, you know, you're never really gonna get it. Anyway. Yeah, I think I've covered enough. You should know how to play Germany after this a lot better. I will upload the video afterwards, and I will show you it in action. You know, so I'll see you around.